Bleach seasons 1, 2, 3. Continuing on where, as I said, after being knocked down by Genichimaru, Ichigo and his friends go with them with Yoruichi to see a friend of both Kisuke and Yoruichi, Kakoshiga of the Rukan district. These after work out a little fine, but then later Ichigo gets a fight with some guy named Ganju who has a hate out for Soul Reaper. Turns out the guy Ganju is really Kaku's little brother, who hates Soul Reapers very much. Turns out his brother was a Soul Reaper, and he was killed by his comrades, and he remembers that because he was standing right in front of the person who killed him, and that he was responsible for his brother's death. It was a very bad situation, and those of you who know what I'm talking about. Continuing onward, after they use Rukaku, they get into the Soul Society through her fireworks display, and her cannon, and Ganju goes with them, and all of them get inside, but they attract a lot of attention. They get into the cemetery, they get a lot of attention. People are out looking for them. They are scattered. They are separated. It's a very rough time for them because of what they did. It is very dangerous. This is very dangerous because they're inside enemy territory and they don't know what they're going to do next. They are right now in a bad position. Continuing on for first Ganju and Ichigo arrive, and they get to deal with two enemies of Squad 11. The third and fifth Steak, Ikaku Manarame, Yumichiga Shidua. Ubitika takes Ganju, and when Ikaku takes Ichigo, who's Ichigo. And their fight is pretty rough. I kind of admit, I like their fight. Ichigo and Kaku are almost evenly matched. And even though Ichigo first started fighting a Soul Reaper of very high rank, other than the last time he fought both Renji and Byakuya. Those fights were pretty rough for him, because that was a very rough time for him. Because you gotta, those times were very much, because he didn't know. Now he's gained one thing that he doesn't have: experience, strength, stamina, and a lot of power that he got from his training with Urahara. Continuing on where he his fighting with he's very rough. Everybody right now is in their own desperate situation. And Chad lands, and right now he's like he's in hiding, but later he gets to make his move. And right now you have Uryu and Orihime. They managed to hook up, but they right now are like on their own. They can't do nothing. And right now Yoruichi, he's in a different location. And then Ganju and Ichigo, those guys never made a good pair. And Ganju himself, he doesn't fight. He's not a fighter in most of this stuff. He doesn't fight at all. And most of his powers is just trickery, spells, and deception, using smoke deception bombs. He only managed to beat Yumichiga by a narrow margin using smoke bombs. Later they get the rendezvous back, but they get a lot of attention on them. Some that they don't not want for people like them. That is very bad for them, because like I said, they're in enemy territory. They don't know what position they're gonna do next. Right now, they managed to pick up a friend, Hanataro from Squad 4, who's like a nice guy. Who asked them what they're gonna do, and like they're going to rescue Rukia, and then they find out where she is because of the repentance cell. And like right now it works, but they're in bad situation right now. Right now, later you get Uryu's fight with Jirobo Ikazaka of Squad 4, the 4th seat. Jirobo was slicing win. Uryu completely decimates him very little. He was like not even a real opponent at all. He even tried to sneak attack on Orihime. He reacted very fast. Not to mention Uryu's hatred of Soul Reapers. He's only with Ichigo out of spite. Just to back him up a little bit. Just a little. Even though Uryu hates Soul Reapers, he doesn't hate Ichigo as much as he should. Like, they managed to form a friendship and kind of a partnership. Even though they sometimes butt heads. It's just their way of talking. And I like Uryu a little bit. And later on, we're going to see why. Continuing onward after their fight, Right, they have to keep moving and moving. Even after Chad tried to fight Ichigo, he even had to get into some good fights, even knocking down most of Squad 11's Barrett fighters. Right now, he's on his own right now, but he has doing a lot of damage. But that's some bad situation. Later, you get to see them go into the repentant cell. Ichigo, Gaju, and Hanato, they managed to make it, but they're in a bad situation. Guess who they meet? Somebody they do not want to meet in a dark alley, and that is, boom, Renji Abadai of Squad 6, which was the guy who knocked Ichigo down silly the last time, and he's one fight. I gotta admit, this is one of my favorite fights. This fight lasts at least 2 episodes. But I gotta admit, I just love the fight. This is one of the best Bleach fights you can see. And I like Renji a little bit because he's willing to do anything he can to protect his comrades and his way of life. And also you get to see his backstory a little bit. You get to see that he was really close to Rukia. They grew up together in the Rescuecon district. They had friends. They went to the Soul Society. They changed because they wanted to live outside the ghetto. And I gotta admit, I like him for that. So drunk, sorry. Because they both wanted a better life. He even sacrificed his friendship with Rukia just so she could be accepted by the Kutsuki clan. Because Kutsuki was one of the high class noblemen of the region. And like living with them would have been a great life for her. But he sacrificed his feelings, his pride, and everything he knew to be with her just so she can have a better life. Even though it was a completely selfless act, he still cared for her in his own way. And even though he managed to make it into the Soul Society, he still cared for her in his own way. And one of the things that drove him is to be stronger than Byaku Yakusuke. He was just astounded by him because of how strong he was and how great he was. That being said, and you gotta respect Renji a little bit. Later, after the fight, Ichigo's collapsed. He's like damaged at the Earth, and you get to see something odd: the Hollow Mask. That just backs him up, no matter how far you get to go, how far the Hollow's going to follow. Because he went through the Hollow transformation in season 1. After all, he had to regain his powers. That's something that very few people can really deal with. And I gotta admit that those were pretty interesting, especially he had to do other extraordinary circumstances. But like I said, people are starting to pay attention. People are starting getting noticed, and one of the people who really gets a really big notice is this guy, one of the total badasses of Bleach, Captain Kenpachi Zaraki of Squad 11. You gotta admit, this guy is a total badass. He lives nothing but for fighting, tearing things apart, and nothing but combat. He became a captain just through fighting, and that has proved how strong he is. He just lives for fighting. He's the leader of Squad 11, which is the first in the battle, which makes him a very difficult opponent. He was one of the first difficult opponents that Ichigo had to face because he brought out his true potential, his true inner strength. Even though it was a very close call and a difficult fight, in the end it was a draw. The fact that managed to make Ichigo go to a draw with this guy makes him a really tough competitor. And this too was one of my favorite Bleach fights, lasting a total of 4 episodes. You also get recast because not only do you have to deal with his fight, at the same time you have Yatsuchiro Sada, who's Chad, fighting Captain Kyoraku of Squad 8. And Kyoraku, even though Kyoraku decimated him, you get to see Chad's story a little bit too. How Ichigo backed him up when he was confronted by bullies, how they promised to stay by his side. Even though he didn't know what the hell Rukia Kutsuki is, he's willing to back him up just for a friend's sake and just for Ichigo's sake as well. That makes him a true loyal friend in my eyes. Continuing onward, the fight is just nasty. Yoruichi manages to save him. Ichigo is like damaged on the edge of death, but he's been saved by Yoruichi. Chad's been taken into custody. Onohime and Uryu, they're like that right now undercover. They had to make sure they gotta hide, because right now it's just difficult. Later, you get to see we got into a Hanato. They go to the repentance cell. They manage to take it on time and try to free Rukia, but then you get this scene, and this guy. You see that? That's Rukia covered in blood. Guess whose blood that is? Gaju's dead older brother, Kaien Kaya Shiba, who was the lieutenant of Squad 13, who was her superior officer, meaning she was the one who killed him, even though it was a very bad situation and very desperate time. Something like that. It was technically Rukia who killed him at the end, but that's something that can be explained if you do see this on DVD or watching online. Continuing onward. That's someone Hanato doesn't care or neither. No, but Ganchu, he's like furious because he see the person who killed his brother in front of his eyes. He can't stand looking at Rukia, and even knowing that it's Ichigo who wants to save her, why would he save her? Because of what he did. And she even admits that she killed Kaya in front of him, and he just is furious. But later, as they argue, Byakuya Kyuchi shows up. He even making sure that they stop all of this, just to stop them from rescuing Rukia, because she is supposed to be executed by the law of the Soul Society. Hanato, you tried to step in, but Ganchu takes his place, because Hanato is not a fighter, he's a healer. Just always been a healer. Continuing onward right now, even though Ganchu is completely outmatched, he just is decimated. Completely decimated by Byakuya's overwhelming strength, his overwhelming power, by his Zenbo and Sakura. You've seen how fierce Byakuya is. Definitely know he's one of the strongest characters in Bleach you've ever seen, especially for a captain class of his level. Continuing onward, Ichigo hearing of the fight, even waking up after his fight with Zaraki, Yoruichi revealing her true form as a woman, and she was embarrassed. It's funny, and he's just a little embarrassed. Continuing with this, Ichigo hears the fight, even using the device that Yoruichi had to fly. He uses it, confronts Byakuya, even managed to back up and save Rukia from being hurt. But you gotta admit, even though Ichigo has improved, he's not completely strong enough to king out Byakuya. But in the meantime, Yoruichi shows up, interferes with the bite, knock out Ichigo, and takes him away for Bankai training. And that's in episode 42. That's like at the end of season 2. That's at the end of season 2 and at the start of season 3. Season 3 being this. Bleach season 3, the rescue, which is very specific. Which I gotta admit, very specific and very continuous, and I just love this one to its arc. Continuing forward, this has been Bleach season 2, 1, 2, 3. I just love these seasons, and these are one time to watch anytime. This is Sullivan Adams giving you later do the Bleach season 1, 2, 3, part 2. Hope you enjoy. Comment, and subscribe. Signing off.